Okay, problem set, lesson 30, module 4. Today you're going to be rewriting division expressions as a fraction and then dividing. This kind of is the next step to actually sitting down and writing out and solving the problems. Remember the other day we did the multiply by, we tried to get to tens and hundreds. Do you remember that when we did our division with decimals the other day? Well, today the problem is that we have a decimal and a decimal that we're dividing. So let's look at problem set number 1C, 3 5/10 divided by 5/10. Now, what's another way I could write that?
You could write 3.5 divided by like the fraction 5/10.
Okay, so I could write it as a fraction, and that's the way I want to take this actually today.
3 whole and 5.
And these are tenths, right? So in order to get it out of the tenth place, because I don't want a decimal on the bottom. I can't have a decimal on the bottom. So in order to get it to move from the tenths to a whole unit, what do I need to do? Nathan? Multiply by 10. So if I multiply the bottom times 10, I would have to multiply the top times 10. So this would be times 10 and 10. And all that does is gets me from 3 5/10 to what number? Because I need to get out of the decimals. Alexis?
35.
That would give me 35 on top, and what number would I have on the bottom? Ruth, do you know? What would it give me on the bottom? 5. So now what am I left with?
35/5, which is also 7 wholes.
That's right. 35/5, which could also be read as 35 divided by 5 equals 7. So 3 5/10 divided by 5/10 equals 7.
You could also like you know that's 1/2. Then 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1 whole, and you could just see how many times it goes in 3 1/2.
Yes, whatever works for you. As long as you get the same answer that we get, that's good. Would it? I don't know. No. I would explain to you why it's not, because then I'd have to show you standard algorithm, and that would be out of the order. So, but no, what you want to do is you can't keep a decimal on the bottom, okay? Because that would be like saying this. That doesn't work. So you want to get that to a whole unit, and in order to get rid of that fraction, you multiply by 10 to get it to the whole. So if your bottom number is in the hundredths place, what would you multiply by to get it to a whole? 100. So let's try another problem. You know, if you think about your place value chart also, that will help. Because you have to, before you do anything, get rid of the decimal. You can't keep a decimal in there. You'd have like 3 fractions going at once. Let's try D. 3 5/10 divided by 500. How could I write that?
3.5 over 0.05.
Okay, 3 5/10 over 5/100. What's my denominator?
0 and 500.
Okay, my denominator is 5/100. So what am I going to multiply both numbers by? 100. Now, we know when we multiply a number by 100, the decimal moves how many places? To the right. How many places does the decimal move to the right? Anthony? 2 places to the right. So if I do 3 5/10 times 100, and I move this decimal 2 places, what will I have on top? What number will I have on top, Connor? 350 over what? 5. Now what do? Divide it. 350 divided by 5. Well, 35 divided by 5 is 7, and then 0. So the answer is 70. It's pretty easy, I think, isn't it? Don't you think? Do you need me to do one more, or are we good to go?